The key to making the best cheesecake comes down to a few key baking tips that I'm going to show you today and walk you through this recipe step by step so that this cheesecake comes out foolproof. I know if you're a beginner baker, it might be a little intimidating, but I promise you by the end of this video, you'll have the confidence to try making this in your own kitchen, because a cheesecake is just one of those desserts that I think not only impresses your guests, but it's definitely one that no one can resist. And being recently diagnosed with celiac disease, I love that I can easily turn this into a gluten-free dessert so that I can still enjoy it by simply swapping out the regular graham crackers for gluten-free graham crackers. So I still get to enjoy my cheesecake. To start, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees and position a rack in the center of your oven. We're going to start by making our graham cracker crust. If you can't find graham crackers in your grocery store, you can easily swap it out with digestive biscuits or vanilla wafers, or in this case I'm going to be using gluten-free graham crackers. You'll start by pulsing the graham crackers in a food processor or blender until they're finely ground. If you don't have a food processor or high-speed blender to get the job done, I love just placing the graham crackers into a large zip top plastic bag and using a rolling pin to smash them into fine pieces. It's a great way to get out your aggression, and you don't need to bust out any fancy equipment either. You'll place the graham cracker crumbs into a large bowl and stir in the salt, melted butter, and brown sugar. You'll press the crumb mixture firmly into the bottom and up the sides of a 9-inch springform pan. You can use the bottom of a measuring cup or simply use your hands to press the crumb mixture into the pan. You'll place the pan on a baking sheet and bake at 350 degrees for 10 minutes, then remove from the oven and let it cool while you go ahead and make the filling. In the bowl of a stand mixer fitted with a paddle attachment, or you can simply use a hand mixer, beat the softened cream cheese and sugar on medium speed for 4 minutes. You'll add in your salt and vanilla, beating after each addition, and then add your eggs one at a time, beating for 1 minute after each addition so that they're fully incorporated. You'll add in your sour cream and heavy cream and beat until incorporated. Make sure to scrape down the sides of the bowl and along the bottom just to make sure that all of your cream cheese has been mixed in and there aren't any little pockets hiding at the bottom. Then you're going to lower the heat on your oven to 325 degrees. A cheesecake needs to bake at a nice low temperature for a really long time. And then we're going to prepare the water bath. So a water bath is a really simple step of baking your cheesecake pan inside a larger pan that's been filled with water. The water bath is what's going to help make for a smooth cheesecake filling and also prevent any cracks in the top of your cheesecake. For the traditional method, I like to prepare and wrap the outside of the springform pan in 3 to 4 layers of aluminum foil. You want to make sure that none of the pan is exposed so that no water can get in and ruin your crust. I also sometimes use a slow cooker liner on the outside. It's a great way to ensure that there's no water getting in. If you don't have a large enough pan to place your cheesecake pan in for the water bath, you can also use a large skillet and fill that with water. Place it on the bottom rack of your oven so that the steam gets to the cheesecake. You're going to pour the cheesecake filling into the pan over the graham cracker crust and just smooth the top with a rubber spatula. Place your roasting pan with the springform pan in it in the oven. Pour your hot water into the roasting pan. I like to do this while the cheesecake is in the oven, so I don't have to try to transfer the large pan with boiling water from my counter to my oven. That way I don't need to worry about it spilling and also then spilling into my cheesecake. You want to use enough hot boiling water so that it comes about halfway up the sides of the springform pan. You'll bake the cheesecake at 325 for 1.5 hours. The edges should be set, but the middle should still be slightly wobbly. It's going to continue to cook and set up as it cools. You don't want to cook it until it's completely firm on top, otherwise that means it's overbaked and also likely to crack. If your cheesecake is browning too much on top while it's baking, I simply just tent it with a piece of tin foil over the top just to keep the top protected from over browning. Once the cheesecake is cooked, it actually needs to then cool in the oven for another hour. You'll simply turn your oven off, open the oven door slightly, and let the cheesecake sit in there for about an hour just to let it cool down slowly. This is going to help prevent any cracks forming in the cheesecake top. Then the cheesecake does need to cool in the refrigerator for about 4 hours or ideally overnight. I like to cover the top of the cheesecake with a piece of wax paper or paper towel and then cover with tin foil. I find that this just helps prevent condensation from forming on top of the cheesecake. Don't skip chilling the cheesecake. It really does need to set up in the refrigerator because it's going to continue to cool and continue to set up to that perfect creamy texture. Now you can serve this cheesecake, of course, plain with a little bit of whipped cream or a fruit topping, classic cherry topping, of course. This vanilla cheesecake is creamy, delicious, and absolute dessert perfection. And I hope with this video that I've given you the confidence to try making this on your own at home. And if you try this recipe, let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. And if you have any other difficult baking recipes that you want me to break down for you step by step so that you have the confidence to try it on your own, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, happy baking.